Hey friends, welcome to NIKRA'S Expert Learning. In the steel structure series, we are just starting with all the topics in the steel structures. So in the previous video, we discussed types of the steel sections we are having, and that video I have explained the detailed classification of all the steel sections we are having. And in this video, we are talking about the bolted sections, the bolted connections, and the classification of the bolted connections. So first of all, we are talking about the bolted connections definition and a little bit in detail regarding this. So if you like this video or find this video helpful, guys, please do like, share and comment the channel, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. That would greatly motivate me. So coming to this bolted connection, we are having bolt. So whenever we are making any connection between the plates or some sections, we are using the bolts. So if we are making anything with bolt, we are terming that as bolted connection. So a bolt may be defined as a metal pin with head at one end, and in the other end we are having a shank threaded to receive a nut. So this is the diagram, guys. So here, as you can see, this is the bolt where we are having the head at the one end, and the other hand we are having the threaded portion wherein we are rotating this nut. So this is a drawing of which we are showing this nut going on this clockwise direction. Whenever we are rotating in the clockwise direction, it is getting fixed to this screw, the bolt. So this is the bolt to which the nut is fixed. Okay, it is having a head at the one end and the nut at the other end. So this is the drawing. Okay, so generally whenever we are talking about the bolted connections, we will talk about the bolt. So it is represented as M dia L, that is M 16 by 70. So the first one will explain us about the dia of the bolt, that is whatever the shank dia is there, that will be explained, and the next one explains as the length of the bolt. See, in this diagram, this is the L, the length of the bolt. Okay, and in this we are also talking about the diameter of the bolt, the shank region. So this is the one, guys. This is the threading portion, this is the shank portion. So whenever we are talking about the bolt, whatever the threading portion is there, that is the threaded region, and the other region where we are not having any threaded portion, we are calling it a shank. Okay, that is the diagram. So here in this case, say this is the drawing. So wherein we are using this bolted connection to join two plates. Okay, these are the two plates to which this connection has to be made. This is the thickness T1 and T2, the thickness of the plates to which are to be joined. And classification of bolted connections is the next topic we are having. So on the basis of the resultant force transferred, we are having the classification. So first one, on the basis of the resultant force transferred, we are having this connections. First comes the concentric connections, that is when the load passes through the CG of the section, that is through the center. Whatever the resultant forces acting on this are passing through the center of the member, we are calling it as concentric connection. So axially loaded tension and compression members are the best example of these concentric connections. So concentric is whenever it is passing through the CG of the section, that is through the center of gravity of the section. Next we are having the eccentric connections. So when the load is away from the CG of the section, that is the center of gravity. So when it is away from, let us say this is L by 2. So whenever it is at the center, we are terming it as concentric connection. But when it is away from the center, that is eccentric connection. And we are also having the moment resisting connection. That is when this joint is subjected to movements. Okay, that one we are calling it as moment resisting connection. So on the basis of the resultant force position, we are terming it as the eccentric and concentric connection. And we are also having depending on the force. So based on the force acting, this is again another classification. The second one, first is the shear connection. The connections are classified as shear connections when the load transfer is through shear. So whenever the load transfer is through shear, we are calling it as the shear connection. So the best example is the lap and butt joint. So whenever I am talking about any classification, remember I am also mentioning the examples for each case. So in each case, examples are given. First, let me tell you what is a lap joint and butt joint. Lap joint is nothing but whenever the two plates that are to be connected are overlapped. Okay, see here, one plate is overlapped over the another one. So this is a lap joint. The plates are at different levels. Okay, so this is the lap joint. So this is a single bolted butt joint because they are connected with the single bolt. We are calling it a single bolted lap joint. This is the double bolted lap joint, wherein we are using two bolts. Okay, we are using two bolts. So in this lap joint is this one. Let us now talk about the butt joint. The butt joint is this, where the two members are to be connected, are placed end to end. That is, both the plates that are to be connected are at the same level. Okay, not like they are overlapping each other. Okay, see here, this is the one. So these are the two plates to be joined. Here we are providing an additional cover plate, okay, to join this. This is a single bolted single cover butt joint. And next we are having double bolted single cover butt joint. So to the single cover itself, we are having two bolts over here and two bolts over here. So this is the double bolted single cover butt joint. This is a single bolted single cover. Okay, single bolt and the single cover bolt butt joint. Okay. Next, we are also having double cover double bolted butt joint. Two covers, that is one at the bottom, one at the top. And next we are having two bolts. This is a single bolted double cover. That is, to the single bolt itself we are having two covers. So in this, on the basis of the force, we are having the first one a shear connection. The examples are lap and butt joint, which we have discussed now. Just for you to understand what is a lap joint and what is a butt joint, I have provided this information. So let us go to the next one in this. So the first one, the shear, and next one we are having tension force. When the load is transferred by tension on bolts, we are calling it as tension forces. See, so whenever we are transferring the load through shear, that is a shear connection. But whenever we are talking about the load transfer mechanism by tension, this is a tension connection. So here we are using hanger connection as the best example for this transfer tension forces. Okay, hanger connection is we are hanging, like this member is hanging. Okay, to this we are connecting this hanging plate to this main plate using these bolts. Okay, so this is the best example of tension forces. Next we are having the combined shear and tension connections. So when an inclined member is connected to a column through a bracket, that is example connection of bracings, is the best example of this combined shear and tension connection. And next we are having the third classification, that is the last one. This third one is on the basis of force mechanisms, that is the bearing type and friction type. Bolts bear against the holes to transfer the force. That is, example is slip type connection. The slip type connection is the best example of the bearing type force mechanism. Next we are having friction type. When the force is transferred by friction between the plates due to the tensioning of bolts, we are calling it as friction type force mechanism. The best example is slip critical connection. For bearing it is slip type connection, for friction it is slip critical connections. So these are the three general types of classifications of the bolted connections. First one is basis of the force mechanism, and second is on the basis of the force, that is shear connection, tension connection, and the combination of both. Third is on the basis of the resultant force transferred, that is concentric, eccentric, and also the moment resisting frames. That is it for this video, guys. If you like this video, please like, share and comment to the channel, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, guys. Your subscription will greatly motivate me. Thank you for watching this video, guys.